कार्यक्रमर सह प्रायोजक हेले
Good afternoon all of you. Myself Pradeep Kumar Mohanty, lecturer in Mathematics, Jupiter Science College. Today I will discuss quadratic equation. Quadratic equation. Quadratic equation. So before coming to our topic quadratic equation, first we have to know the what do you mean by quadratic polynomial. Dear student, first we have to know what is quadratic polynomial. Quadratic polynomial. So first we have to know what is quadratic polynomial. An expression, dear, an expression is of the form ax square plus bx plus c, where a is not equal to 0 and dear here you see ax square plus bx plus c, a which is not equal to 0 and a, b and c are real or complex numbers is called quadratic polynomial, is called quadratic polynomial, or we call it as a quadratic expression. Quadratic expression. Dear student, ax square plus bx plus c, where a is not equal to 0 is a quadratic polynomial. Here a, b and c, a the coefficient of x square, b the coefficient of x and the constant of c are real or complex numbers, then it is called a quadratic polynomial, dear, or we call it as a quadratic expression. Here you see a, b, c both real and complex. If a question is if a, b, c belongs to a real number, dear, if a, b and c, if a, b and c belongs to real number, then ax square plus bx plus c, ax square bx plus c, we call it as a quadratic polynomial. Quadratic polynomial with real coefficients, that means here the value of a, b and c are real number, therefore it is known as quadratic polynomial with real coefficients. Again, if this quadratic polynomial is equated to 0, dear, if the quadratic polynomial equated to 0, that is if ax square plus bx plus c which is equal to 0, provided a is not equal to 0, then we call it as a quadratic equation. This is known as quadratic equation with real coefficients, here, dear, here you see x square, the coefficient of x square a and the coefficient of x is b and the constant term c, a, b and c are real, therefore this is known as, if this equal to 0, then we call it as a quadratic equation with real coefficients. Here the coefficients are real, that means a, b, c are real numbers. If this equal to 0, again question arises, if this is a quadratic equation, the condition is here, dear, a is not equal to 0. If a is equal to 0, then it forms bx plus c is equal to 0. If bx plus c is equal to 0, then we call it as this is a linear equation. Here you see, that means here the value of a is not equal to 0. Again, if the highest power of x is 2 here, dear, therefore it has 2 roots. It has 2 roots. That means R ame paiba dita value. If it is a quadratic equation, then it has 2 roots. So how to calculate these two roots? Here you see what is the roots of the quadratic equation. Roots of the quadratic equation. Roots of the quadratic equation. Here you see here ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation. Here a which is not equal to 0, here a is not equal to 0. So from this quadratic equation we have to find the value of x. That means it has two values. How to find these two values? So taking out common as a here, rest is x square plus b by a into x plus c by a, which is equal to 0 dear. Here you see a is not equal to 0. If a is not equal to 0, this part is not equal to 0, then automatically x square plus b by a whole into x plus c by a is equal to 0. Okay. Here you see we have to convert up to this part in a completion of square, that is if you multiplying 2 here and dividing 2 here, so it does not change its value dear. Here you see if you multiplying 2 or dividing 2, so it does not change its value. That means x square 2b by 2 into x plus c by a, which is equal to 0. Up to this part we have to convert in the form of a plus b the whole square. We know that here a plus b the whole square, which is equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square dear. Here you see a is equal to x suppose and b is equal to b by 2a. Then we have to convert it in the completion of square. So we can write this as a x square plus 2 times of b by 2a into x plus, here you see b, capital B is equal to b by 2a. That means we can write this as a b square by 4a square, means convert in the form of b square. So it can be written as b square divided by 4a square minus b square divided by 4a square plus c by a equal to 0. That means it does not change its value. So you have to convert this part in a completion of square. So that can be written as dear, that can be written as, so this equal to x plus b by 2a whole square. Hello? Hello? हाँ को कौन क्वेश्चन अच्छी हाँ कौन तुम डाउट इसको हेलो okay next up to this part is equal to x plus b by 2a whole square is equal to, then this left hand side goes to right hand side, then it reduces to b square by 4a square minus c by a dear. This one you see b square by 4a square taking right hand side and plus c by a again coming to the right hand side, this equal to minus c by a dear. Here you can write this as a x plus b by 2a whole square, which is equal to, again from these two terms taking out LCM as 4a square. So you can write this as a b square and this one be 4ac. So here you see again x plus b by 2a the whole 2a, which is equal to dear. Here you see x plus b by 2a whole square is equal to b square minus 4ac divided by 4a square. Then x plus b by 2a is equal to plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a dear. Here you see next we have to find the value of x, then x which is equal to minus b by 2a plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a dear. Here you see x is equal to, again from the right hand side taking out LCM from these two terms, taking out LCM as 2a, then this equal to, the numerator is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac. That means I have already explained you, it has two roots, that means it has two values. So the first one is minus b plus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, and the second one is, second root is minus b minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Here you see dear, these two roots is considered as, suppose one root is equal to suppose alpha and you consider the other one is beta. Therefore, here you can write this as a, let alpha and beta be two roots of the quadratic equation, two root of the quadratic equation. So here you see dear, alpha, what will be the value of then alpha? Alpha which is equal to minus b plus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, and here you see dear, beta is equal to minus b minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So it has two roots dear. Here you see alpha is equal to this one and beta equal to this one. So next is, we have to find the, what is the relation between two roots. First root is alpha is this one and beta is this one. So what is the relation between these two roots and its coefficients? Here you can write this as a relation between two roots and coefficients dear. Here you see, and coefficients. So first you have to find what is the relation between these two roots, what is the sum of these two roots, and what will be the product of these two roots. So first you have to find sum of roots. Sum of root means we have to add alpha plus beta. So that means we have to add these two. Here you see dear, in both the case the denominator is 2a. We have to add these two terms. If the denominator is equal same, then only we have to add the numerator. If you add these two numerator, here you see plus square root of b square minus 4ac minus square root of b square minus 4ac, these two cancelled here. The rest is, what will be the numerator? Minus b minus 2b divided by a. So this value is equal to minus b by a. Hello?
Hello.
Hello? हाँ पचार कौन डाउट अच्छे तुम्हारा? Hello?
Hello.
हाँ को कौन डाउट अच्छी तुम्हारा?
Root 3 minus.
हाँ 3 minus.
Root 3 minus root 2.
3 minus root 2.
By root 3 plus minus 2.
Root 3. Root 3.
Root 2.
Root 3 minus or plus? What is the question?
Plus root 2.
Plus root 2. हाँ.
Okay.
कल तक हमें कौन करिए क्वेश्चन देची?
Root 3.
हाँ.
Root 3 minus root 2.
Root 3 minus root 2
Okay.
divided by root 3 plus root 2.
Root 3 plus root 2.
हाँ. क्वेश्चन तुमको कौन देची टिके को?
Minus.
Okay.
Minus.
हाँ. Minus
Root 3
root 3
plus root 2.
plus root 2
By root 3 minus root 2.
root 2. Okay. So we have to simplify
Okay,
this.
सरल କରିବାକୁ ଦିଅ।
सरल करने को देथिबो ठीक अछि. We have to simplify this. That means from these two terms, this is the subtraction of these two terms dear. So that first of all we have to taking LCM as, here you see, taking LCM as root 3 plus root 2 into root 3 minus root 2 dear. Here you see, The what will be the LCM? What will be the Lossagu? Root 3 plus root 2 into root 3 minus root 2. So what will be the numerator here in the first term? Root 3 minus root 2 whole square minus, again here you see root 3 plus root 2 whole square dear. Here you see the denominator, here you see, which is in the form of a plus b into a minus b. Again we know that a plus b into a minus b, which is equal to a square minus b square dear. So that we can write this as a root 3 square is 3 minus root 2 square is 2 dear. In the numerator here you see, which is in the form of a minus b whole square. So a minus b whole square is equal to, we know that a square, that means root 3 square is 3 plus b square is plus 2 minus 2ab. So 2 into root 3 into root 2 is equal to root 6 dear. Next part is again here you see root 3 plus root 2 square is a plus b whole square. We can write this as a 3 plus 2 plus 2 root 6. Again you see the denominator is 1. So you can write this as a 5 minus 2 root 6. Again this part is minus 5 minus 2 root 6 dear. Plus 5 minus 5 cancel. Rest is minus 4 2 root 6 minus 2 root 6, which is equal to minus 4 root 6. বুঝি পারলে তুমি? হ্যাঁ, থ্যাংক ইউ। আসো এবে next, sum of roots is equal to minus b by a dear. Again the product of two roots, product of roots. Here you see product of root means alpha into beta. Here you see alpha is equal to minus b plus square root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. Here you see beta equal to minus b square minus 4ac by 2a. That means you have to multiply these two terms. That means here you see 2a and 2a. This equal to 4a square dear. You have to multiply these two. 2a into 2a, 4a square. Again you see the numerator. A, we know that a plus b into a minus b, which is equal to a square minus b square dear. So minus b square is b square. Again this one be a, this one be b. This one be a, this one be b. A plus b into a minus b. We know that this equal to a square minus b square. So that means we can write this as a b square minus 4ac. Square root of b square minus 4ac square is equal to b square minus 4ac. Here you see, so this equal to b square minus b square plus 4ac divided by 4a square. B square cancel. So this equal to 4ac divided by 4a square, 4a cancel. So this value is equal to c by a dear. Here you see the product of two roots is equal to c by a, and the sum of roots is equal to minus b by a. Next is, if roots are given, then how to find the quadratic equation? Third point is the very important point. If roots are given, then how to find a quadratic equation dear? If roots are given, then how to find a quadratic equation? Here you see, we know that the quadratic equation is equal to ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Here a is not equal to 0. We have to convert it. If roots are given, then how to find a quadratic equation? Here you see, if you dividing a on both the sides, then it reduces to, see, all of you see, if you dividing a on both the sides, then it reduces to x square plus b by a into x plus c by a, which is equal to 0 dear. We know that alpha plus beta, the sum of the two roots, is equal to minus b by a dear, and alpha beta, the product of the roots is c by a. So that instead of b by a, we can write this as a minus alpha plus beta into x. Dear, see here, b by a, here b by a, which is equal to minus of alpha plus beta. So instead of b by a, we can write this as a minus alpha plus beta into x, plus c by a is also equal to alpha beta. Here you see x square minus alpha x minus beta x plus alpha beta, which is equal to 0. Again here you see, from first two terms taking out common as x, x minus alpha, again from the third and fourth term taking out common as beta, rest is x minus alpha. So you can write this as a x minus alpha and x minus beta, which is equal to 0, dear. That means if alpha and beta are given, then how to find a quadratic equation? जदि तुमको अल्फा और बीटा दीटा रूट देइथिबो ताले हम केमदी क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन बाहर करि परिबा. द वे इज x minus alpha into x minus beta, which is equal to 0, dear. One root is given, two roots are given, alpha is given, beta is given. Then you use that formula to get a quadratic equation, that is x minus alpha into x minus beta, which is equal to 0, dear. Next, I will take one or two questions regarding this. First question is, number one question is, if alpha and beta be two roots of the quadratic equation, alpha and beta be two roots of the quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, then find first bit alpha square plus beta square, and second one is alpha cube plus beta cube. Here you see, dear, alpha and beta be the roots of this quadratic equation. So how to find alpha square plus beta square? I have already explained you, sum of the two roots is equal to minus b by a, and the product of the two roots is equal to c by a, dear. So here you see, in the first case, the given condition alpha and beta be two roots of the quadratic equation, dear. Therefore, first you can write this as a the solution. First, here you see, given condition is given alpha and beta be two roots of the quadratic equation. We know that, here you write, we know that this is the way to solve this question, dear. This is the way to solve this question. We know that alpha plus beta, which is equal to minus b by a, and alpha beta is equal to c by a. From these two relations, we have to find the value of alpha square plus beta square and alpha cube plus beta cube. Here you see, first one is alpha square plus beta square, again which is in the form of a square plus b square, dear. We know that a square plus b square, which is equal to a plus b whole square minus 2ab, dear. Same case here, alpha square b plus beta square, that can be written as alpha plus beta whole square minus of 2 alpha beta, dear. Here you see, we know that alpha plus beta is equal to minus b by a, and alpha beta, which is equal to c by a. Therefore, we substitute here alpha plus beta is minus b by a. So if you substitute here minus b by a whole square minus, again here you see 2 alpha beta is equal to c by a. If you solve these two terms, then you see first one is b square by a square minus 2c by a, dear. Here you see b square by a square minus 2c by a. So taking LCM as, here you see, taking LCM as a square, b square minus 2ac by a square, then what will be the value of alpha square plus beta square, dear? B square minus 2ac divided by a square. Next we have to find alpha q plus beta q using this relation. Here you see alpha q plus beta q dear. See here again which is in the form of aq plus bq. Okay. So which is in the form of aq plus bq. So we can write this as a plus b whole q, a plus b whole q minus 3 into a alpha beta into alpha plus beta. Hello? Hello? हाँ किए कहते Okay. Here you see alpha q plus beta q dear. Again which is in the form of aq plus bq, which is in the form of a plus b whole q minus 3ab into a plus b, because this part is equal to alpha q plus beta q plus 3 alpha beta whole into alpha plus beta, and this one be minus, so it does not change its value. Again it reduces to alpha q plus beta q. We know that alpha plus beta is equal to minus b by a whole q minus, again here you see 3 alpha beta equal to c by a dear, and alpha plus beta is minus b by a dear. Again you simplify this, here you see you simplify this, minus of b by a whole q is equal to minus bq by aq. Here you again this one is minus and this one be minus, so plus 3bc divided by a square. If you multiply these two, then this equal to 3bc divided by a square dear. Again from these two terms taking out LCM as aq, then what will be the value? Minus bq plus, here you see the denominator is a square, so this can be written as 3abc, or you can write this as a 3abc minus bq by a bq divided by aq. First to write the positive one, 3abc minus bq divided by aq dear. Next the second question is, we solve one more questions. Okay. Number 2 question, if here you see if one root of the quadratic equation, ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 is square of the other, then prove that pt means dear, this is prove that bq plus a square c plus ac square which is equal to 3abc dear. Here you see one root of the quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 is square of the other. That means if you consider one root is alpha, then automatically the other root is alpha square. That means here you write let the two roots be alpha and alpha square dear. Two roots be alpha and alpha square. Here you see, so this is a quadratic equation. We know that sum of these two roots, if one root is alpha and the other root is alpha square, then sum of these two roots is equal to, we know that this equal to minus b by a. That means here beta equal to alpha square, so alpha plus beta which is equal to minus b by a. This is equation number 1. Again you see product of the two roots, that means alpha into beta, here beta equal to alpha square dear, so alpha into alpha square which is equal to c by a. That means alpha q which is equal to c by a dear. Here you see alpha plus alpha square minus b by a and alpha q c by a. From these two relations we have to prove that bq plus a square c plus ac square equal to 3abc. Here you see That means we can write this as a cubing on both the sides. You see from equation number 1 dear, alpha plus alpha square is equal to minus b by a. If you cubing on both the sides, alpha plus alpha square whole cube is equal to dear minus b by a whole square dear. Here you see alpha, that means cubing the equation number 1, cubing on both. Hello, hello dear. हाँ को कौन तुम डाउट अच्छी? हेलो, हाँ कौन तुम डाउट अच्छी को? हेलो,
हेलो सर नमस्कार।
हाँ कौन डाउट अच्छी को?
गोटे वर्ग क्षेत्र
हाँ
हेलो सर
हाँ को कौन कहूँ को?
जो गोटे वर्ग क्षेत्र
हाँ क्लियर करी को सुबुनी मते क्लियर करी टिके को हाँ नेक्स्ट देखो ये देखो हियर यू सी अल्फा प्लस अल्फा स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू माइनस बी बाय ए डियर इफ यू क्यूबिंग ऑन बोथ दी साइड्स दिस साइड रे जदी हमें क्यूब नबा देन इट रिड्यूसेस टू कोन आसुची हमें लक्ष्य करो here you see this equal to which is in the form of the left hand side which is in the form of a plus b whole cube here so that can be written as alpha cube plus alpha to the power 6 alpha square cube alpha to the power 6 dear or we can write this as a 3ab alpha into alpha square whole into alpha plus alpha square which is equal to dear minus b by q or we can write this as a minus bq by aq dear here you see alpha q what will be the value of alpha q from equation number 2 we know that alpha q is equal to c by a so here we can write this as a instead of alpha q we can write this as a c by a in alpha to the power 6 means alpha q square so that can be written as c by a whole square plus 3 alpha into alpha square 3 into c by a dear here you see again alpha plus alpha square in the from equation 1 we know that alpha plus alpha square is minus b by a this equal to minus bq by aq or we can so I will return after a break dear. Okay, let's start again. Here you see dear alpha q which is equal to c by a. I have already substituted here. Here you see alpha q which is equal to c by a. Alpha to the power 6 means alpha q whole square. So you can write this as a c by a whole square. Here you see alpha into alpha square is alpha q. So instead of alpha q this is equal to c by a. Again here you see alpha plus alpha square is from equation 1 this one be minus b by a and the right hand side is equal to minus bq divided by aq. So the left hand side is equal to c by a plus c square by a square minus 3bc divided by a square. Here you see 3c into b minus 3bc and the denominator is a into a square which is equal to minus bq divided by aq dear. Here you see in the left hand side taking LCM as a square rest is the first one is ac then this one be c square minus 3bc which is equal to minus bq by aq dear. Here you see this is minus bq by aq. From this denominator this one be a square and this one be aq. If you cancel these two terms rest is the right hand side is minus bq divided by a then you cross multiplied it then it reduces to if you cross multiplied then it reduces to a into ac plus and this one be here you see c square minus 3bc which is equal to minus bq dear. If you, again you multiplied it a square c plus ac square minus 3abc which is equal to minus BQ dear. We have to prove that. Question is, we have to prove that BQ plus A square C plus AC square, which is equal to 3ABC. Here you see the right hand side is minus BQ. So that can be written as BQ. Taking left hand side, this is equal to BQ plus A square C plus AC square. Again the minus term minus 3ABC to the right hand side. So this equal to dear 3ABC. Here you see dear, this value is equal to BQ plus A square C plus AC square, which is equal to 3ABC. Okay. Next I will solve one more question using the trigonometries in quadratic equation. You have already know some ideas about the trigonometries. Therefore, I will take one question to solve that one. Here you see the third one is, if cos alpha and sin alpha be two roots of the quadratic equation px square plus qx plus r equal to 0 dear, to find, that means we have to find the value of p square minus q square plus 2pr. Dear you see, here you see we have to find the value of p square minus q square plus 2pr if the quadratic equation is px square plus qx plus r equal to 0. And here the roots are cos alpha and sin alpha. That means here this alpha, the first root alpha, cos alpha, this first root is cos alpha and the second one is sin alpha. So here you see, if cos alpha and sin alpha be the two roots, then the given quadratic equation is, here you see, given px square plus qx plus r, which is equal to 0 dear. This is a quadratic equation. That means here a equal to p, b equal to q and c equal to r dear. That means, and the roots are cos alpha and sin alpha. Therefore, here you can write this as a cos alpha plus sin alpha. We know that sum of the two roots is equal to minus b by a. Here you see, this is a quadratic equation. Here a equal to p dear, b equal to q and c equal to r. Therefore, we can write this as a cos alpha plus sin alpha is equal to minus b by a. That means minus q by p dear. So, sum of the two roots is equal to minus b by a. That means this equal to q by p. Again here you see the product of the two roots, that is cos alpha into sin alpha. We know that product of the two roots which is equal to c by a. Here you see c which is equal to r and a is equal to p. Therefore, we can write this as a r divided by p. Okay. Again, from these two relations, we have to find the value of p square minus q square plus 2pr. Again, we know that dear, we know that sin square alpha plus cos square alpha, which is equal to 1. We know in the trigonometry, we know that sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Same case here, sin square alpha plus cos square alpha, which is equal to 1. That means here you see the left hand side, which is again in the form of a square plus b square. So, we have to convert this in the form of a plus b whole square minus 2ab dear. That means we can write this as a sin alpha plus cos alpha whole square minus of 2ab, that means 2 sin alpha into cos alpha dear. Here you see, if you substitute a equal to sin alpha and b equal to cos alpha, then which is in the form of a square plus b square. Again we know that a plus b whole square minus 2ab, which is equal to a square plus b square, this equal to 1. Here you say sin alpha plus cos alpha is minus q by p dear. So, instead of sin alpha plus cos alpha, if you substitute minus q by p whole square minus 2 into Sin alpha into cos alpha is equal to r by p dear. So you can write this as a r by p equal to 1. Here you see, so this part is equal to q square by p square minus 2r by p, which is equal to 1 dear. So from the left hand side taking LCM as, here you see, from the left hand side taking LCM as p square, then what will be the value in the numerator? Q square minus 2pr, which is equal to 1 dear. Here you see, if you cross multiplied it, p square minus 2pr is equal to p square dear. Or we can write this as a, here you see, or we can write this as a p square, taking the left hand side to the right hand side, it reduces to minus 2pr is equal to p square minus q square dear. Or we can write this as a p square minus q square plus 2pr, which is equal to what? We have to find the value of p square minus q square plus 2pr. Then what will be the value of p square minus q square plus 2pr? This is equal to 0 dear. This value is equal to 0. Okay. Next I will discuss nature of the roots. Nature of the roots. Here you see nature of the roots. Hello, hello, hello. हाँ कौन कहूल? हेलो
हेलो
हाँ कौन कहूल कह?
हेलो
हाँ कह कौन कहूल कह? कौन तुम क्वेश्चन अच्छी कह? कौन क्वेश्चन अच्छी कहून?
क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन रो केते नंबर की?
हेलो हाँ हेलो नहीं एटा क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन रो एटा होची नेचर ऑफ द रूट्स हैला आमे केम जानिबा नेचर ऑफ द रूट्स माने केतबेले से रूट्स टा इक्वल वैल्यू आसी पारे काना आमे कहिची मूलरू इट हैज टू रूट्स डियर. It has two roots. Either these two roots are equal आसीपारे किंबा the two roots are अलग अलग आसीपारे. केमती आसीबो सेही विषय जानिया पई we have to write here nature of the root. That means to know what is the nature of the roots. Okay. Here you see, we know alpha is equal to dear minus b plus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a dear, and beta which is equal to minus b square minus 4ac divided by 2a dear. Here you see the first property. What is the nature of the roots? First one is, here you see, always the nature of the roots depends upon b square minus 4ac. सुनो टिके ये जो b square minus 4ac अच्छी तार वैल्यू उपरे सब बड़े रूट्स टा डिपेंड करे. एंड जो दैट b square minus 4ac, the quantity d square minus 4ac is denoted by capital D. That means the quantity d which is equal to b square minus 4ac is the discriminant of the quadratic equation dear, of the quadratic equation dear. Here you see the roots of the quadratic equation always depends upon that d. Here that quantity d is equal to b square minus 4ac is this is known as discriminant of the quadratic equation. This is known as discriminant of the quadratic equation. Here you see, this is the very important part dear. Number 2, if d is greater than 0, suppose the value of b square minus 4ac jodi tomar greater than 0 asila, then the roots are real and unequal. ताले तमरो रूट्स गुड़ाक कौन आसे ना रियल आसीबो रियल नंबर रे आसीबो आउ से दीटा वैल्यू कौन कौन आसुतबो ना अलग अलग वैल्यू आसुतबो देखो से दीटा वैल्यू अलग अलग आसुतबो हियर यू सी सम इंपोर्टेंट नोट here you write some important note. Suppose in the first case here you write if A, B and C belongs to Q dear, that means we know that the value of alpha is equal to minus B plus square root of B square minus 4AC by 2A and the beta is equal to minus B minus square root of B square minus 4AC by 2A if A, B and C belongs to Q, means a rational number, and B square minus 4AC is a perfect square dear, is a perfect square. That means suppose ए जदि value टा तमरो आसी थांदा गोटे perfect square रे देखो एमती आसीबो धरो suppose value टा -2 square root of 4 by 3 suppose आस्तांदा. We know that square root of value of 4 is equal to 2, that means this value is equal to suppose 0, this value equal to 0. If you can write this as a minus because the roots are minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac. So here you see b square minus 4ac is a perfect square dear. If it is a perfect square, then here you see this value is equal to -2 plus or minus 2 by 3. If you consider plus sign here, -2 plus 2 is equal to 0. So one root is equal to 0. -2 minus 2 means -4 by 3. That means one root is 0 and the other root is -4 by 3 dear. Here you see the roots are rational and unequal. If A, B, C belongs to Q, B square minus 4AC is a perfect square, then roots are rational and unequal dear. Here you see one root is 0 and other root is -4 by 3. That means both are rational number and these two are unequal. In the second case here you see if A, B, C belongs to Q and B square minus 4AC dear is not a perfect square, is not a perfect square. For example, it is not a perfect square. That means the roots are like this. Suppose x is equal to -2 plus or minus, suppose this is equal to suppose 5 divided by 2. Here you see, suppose the roots is -2 plus or minus square root of 5. That means here the value of b square minus 4ac is not a perfect square dear. Here you see, so these values are irrational. That means the roots are, one root is -2 plus root 5 divided by 2 is one root and the other root is -2 minus root 5 divided by 2. These two roots are irrational and unequal. Here you see the roots then, hello, 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 huh, ko, hello, hello, हाँ कौन क्वेश्चन अच्छी पचार ना हेलो कौन क्वेश्चन अच्छी पचार हेलो ओके then roots are irrational and unequal. Here you see dear one question. Here you see in case of a irrational root, listen all of you, x one root is alpha. Suppose here alpha is equal to -2 plus root 5 by 2 dear and beta is equal to -2 minus root 5 by 2 dear. Here you see one root is plus and another root is minus. If you consider 1 plus root 5 is a root of a quadratic equation, then what will be the other root? Then the other root must be 1 minus root 5. Here you see if the roots are irrational and these two are unequal and unequal, that means the first one is plus and that second one is -2 plus root 5 by 2 and beta which is equal to -2 minus root 5 by 2 dear. That means the roots are conjugate pair, we call it as a, the roots are conjugate pair. If one root is alpha, alpha is suppose 1 plus root 5. हाँ हेलो कह तुम कौन क्वेश्चन अच्छी हेलो
Hello.
हाँ कह कौन क्वेश्चन अच्छी
So, sir, my question is, if positive value of P,
पॉजिटिव वैल्यू ऑफ
positive value of P
टी
for which equation
हाँ
x square plus px plus 64 equal to 0.
again
X square plus px plus 64 equal to 0.
ax square
X square plus px plus 64.
64
64
54 और 64
equal to 0.
हाँ
And
and
x square minus 8x
minus 8x
plus p
plus 8
equal to 0 will both have real root will be.
if both है real root will be.
Will both have real root will be.
Okay, here you see dear, here you see the first equation, here you see x square plus tx plus 64 is equal to 0 and the second one is x square minus 8x plus 8. Dear, here you see this is a quadratic equation, x square minus 8x plus 8 is equal to 0 dear, and the first equation is x square plus tx plus 64 equal to 0. So, in the second equation x square minus 8x plus 8 equal to 0. So, we have to solve this quadratic equation. Here you see what is the value of alpha plus beta, or you first you solve this quadratic equation, you solve this quadratic equation by using the middle term factor. Dear, you solve this quadratic equation by using the middle term factor? No. So, therefore, here you use the formula x is equal to minus b, that means here this value is equal to 8 plus or minus square root of 8 square is 64 minus 4ac divided by 2a dear, that means okay, you have to solve first, you solve this question like this, then you get the value of d dear. Okay, close. So, I will continue this in the next class. I have already discussed the nature of the roots. If d is less than 0, then what will happen? In the next class I will discuss if d equal to 0 and d less than 0, what will happen? Okay dear, next class I will discuss all this. Thank you.
ଏହି କାର୍ଯ୍ୟକ୍ରମର ସହ ପ୍ରାୟୋଜକ ହେଲେ
Jupiter J